Welcome again, you beautiful people, to another guide by the bustiest jello on YouTube. Today we have a guide on the monster collection and how to utilize it as fast as possible for gains. I appreciate the like and subs, as well as the idea for making this video from the comment section. Let's get it. So what is it? The monster collection is just that, a collection that shows how many monster reviews you've collected over time. These monsters aren't added to the collection immediately though, sometimes it takes time to add them, so when it's added to the collection, it looks like this. You'll collect monsters by slaying them, as there's a chance to add them to the monster collection as you're killing them. There is no set listed percentage of them being added, however there is a star rating that tells you how rare it is. For example, a 5-star boss will take many more kills than a 1-star, unless RNGesus smiles down upon you. Also, higher level monsters take longer than lower leveled monsters, again unless RNGesus smiles upon you. As you collect monsters, you'll be able to receive rewards for finishing full sets or rows. On top of that, after you finish a full page, or all the rows, there is an additional reward for that as well. These rewards range from slot expansion coupons, stackable chairs, fusion anvils, meso bags, maple reward points, medals of honor, and more. So let's talk about the UI, and this features 3 main sections. The first is the Collections tab, which allows you to browse all pages of enemies by area. Some areas have subdivisions, so you can further narrow down your search there. The Medals tab allows you to claim a medal when you add enough monsters from the listed area to the monster collection. For example, for Victoria Island, I have 79 different monsters that I've added to the collection, but I need 100 for this medal. The medals themselves aren't that great, but if you're a collectionist, this might be something to look at. The last tab is the most useful tab of the 3. This one allows you to send full collections of monsters, so by the row, not full pages, out on explorations for certain amounts of time. The higher tier the enemies, the longer it takes, and the better rewards you get. If you click on Explore, it will allow you to expand the rewards to see the possible benefits. More on that in the next section. The way this works is that you'll receive 1 item from each separate tier per run. There are 3 different tiers, and tier 1 is a certain amount of maple points, so great for wild totems and whatnot. Tier 2 is going to have trade items, such as carrot juices, latte, cologne, etc. The higher rarity collections have the ability to get trait boost potions as well, but in the hundreds of times that I've sent out the 24-hour collection, I have never gotten one. And the 3rd tier is upgrade items like cubes, stamps, and flames. In my estimation, I get at least 1 to 2 red flames per week, so this is worth running if you can get a high tier collection. To identify a collection tier, you'll hover over the chest you get for each row, and it will have a tier listed, so trifling, adequate, decent, and substantial. That will tell you the tier of the exploration it will give you. These are 1 hour, 3 hour, 6 hour, and 24 hours respectively. Or, if you prefer to look by color, the brown box is the trifling, the red boxes are either decent or adequate, and the black box is substantial. A few high tier ones that I've found that include some sort of boss or mini boss that are easy to get are the Corrupt Spirit of Harmony from Arcana, since you can actually go in every few seconds, the ones with Horntail and Chaos Horntail, because you can finish this every day with many characters, and then the one with Arma, since it spawns every 10 to 15 minutes. I only know this because I trained in that room for 10 levels from 205 to 215 with a lot of my side characters. And then finally, before we leave this section, it's important to note that on the right side there it says 600 collection items needed. This is actually a slot that can be unlocked so that you can send more explorations out at once. I have 4, but you'll start with only 2 slots. These unlock at 150 enemies, 300 enemies, and 600 enemies. And since the monster collection is shared throughout the whole world, you can get these on side characters as well pretty quickly. So here in the last section, I wanted to go over a few small things that are not apparent in the question mark at the top right that supposedly is going to answer your questions. It doesn't. First, some enemies when you hover over them will have a little asterisk in front of their name. This means that you have to get them from a Star Force area, so slaughtering the non-Star Force enemies will not add that to the monster collection. For example, we're looking at some hair rollers here from Kerning Tower, and they have that little asterisk right there in front of the name. You'll have to go to the Star Force area to get these. The second item is the purple themed enemies. These monsters are not acquired through the normal means of killing monsters. The reason for this is that the enemies either no longer exist in the game, or there's no way to continually kill them after a certain point, as in it's a quest enemy. So these are gained through finishing certain sets, then getting the monster blooms as a reward. So for example, the fancy amplifier at the top here is a purple item. At the bottom right, you'll see the monster bloom that says it can add a fancy amplifier to the monster collection, but you have to finish the row for that reward. Which actually brings me to my next point, which is monster blooms that can be bought from events and have the chance to add an enemy to your monster collection. They can also provide a substantial exploration box, and I would highly recommend buying these since they're usually pretty cheap and command tremendous value finishing out sets. I can vouch for this, as in my own experience I was able to add the volatile spirit from Arcana to my collection with the monster bloom, and this finished off the set for me. Third is the ones with random names like poisonous, beefy, overwhelming, etc. These are champion monsters. So these are the really huge enemies that spawn every once in a while in each room. Also, the enemies that fly around in the arcane river that prevent you from using potions are actually part of a few monster collections. So the specific example of this is going to be the spirit debris in the Arcana area. This is the last one I need for this page. And then finally, there actually is a way to get these faster, and this is by using the Explorer Bowman Link skill. At max level, the Adventurer's Curiosity Link skill adds 10% critical rate and a 35% chance to add monsters to the monster collection. Get those link skills up. And there you have it, all the information you need to start collecting enemies and items right now. If you have any questions or would like anything clarified, make sure to let me know in the comments. See you in the next video.